And we are live. I am here today with a new fresh face on the channel. His name is Michael. He is anything and everything horror on YouTube, and on Instagram, We Love Horror Podcast. So without further ado, we're going to pull him up right here. What's going on, Michael? How you doing, buddy?
Hello. Thank you for having me, Adam. I'm super excited.
Of course, man. So I will let the viewers know how we met a little bit. You messaged me a little while ago and wanted to do a collab video about Michael Myers. I won't spoil it for the people, but two of our favorite slashers and icons, and then we spoke back and forth, or have been speaking for a little while through Instagram. And I was like, all right, so I was on your channel. Now you are gonna hop on my channel. So very excited to have you in on here. And the people want to know, and when I say the people, I say myself selfishly, when's our video gonna come out? What's going on, man?
It's coming, I promise. I did do a little bit of a hiatus, and by a little bit I mean 2 years. It's been about 2 years since I did anything for the channel and for my We Love Horror podcast. I just kind of took a mental health break. And I planned on coming back in January, but then stuff came up in January. And I've just been like kind of working nonstop. So I haven't had the time to put aside to actually like get everything taken care of, because I'm kind of wanting to kind of rebrand a little bit and do some things differently. So I just want to make sure I worked out all the kinks before I fully come back. But I've got your episode and quite a few others in the tank ready to go. I just need to get on it. So that's where I've been, and I am coming back soon. So yeah.
No, it sounds good. But listen, just from obviously viewing your YouTube channel and stuff like that, you know, you only have a few videos, but they do great. I mean, all the videos have at least like 200 or something views with you know, your Scream ranking. Obviously we'll get into the newest film, but Maxine, Strangers Chapter 1 and stuff like that. So you really have like you know, I'll put out a review nowadays and one will do great and then the other one will have 20 review or 20 views or something like that. So you've got a consistent audience and stuff like that. So again, it's probably just, you know, putting the videos out and taking the time, and you know, you'll blow up for sure. You're a nice guy and stuff like that. So yeah.
As are you. So I think you're gonna blow up too. I think your videos are awesome. So
I appreciate. Well, I was actually going to ask you that. What was your how did you find? Did you find me through Instagram? Did you find me through a YouTube video, or what made you find me?
I found you through Instagram, and it was because you're friends with Sledgehammer Horror.
Yes, awesome.
And
Kenny's awesome.
I saw that you were recently on one of their episodes. They were on yours, whichever. And I was just like, this guy seems really cool. So that's kind of how I reached out to you, and that's how we became friends. So
that's awesome, because actually what happened with that was I was on my buddy's Joel's channel, and he had Ken pop in the live stream for a little while. I know he had 2 live streams planned at the same time, but he popped in, I met him, and then I immediately messaged him. So it's kind of funny how I did this to him, how you did it to me. I messaged him and was like, hey, I would love to be on your channel, blah, blah, blah. And we ended up talking about Scream. And then I used that, I was on his channel and used that little clip on my Instagram page. So it's kind of cool how all like the puzzle pieces fit together, how you love Scream, I love Scream, I was on his channel, you were on my all these things go back and forth. But yeah, so listen, speaking of Scream, look, I put a review out, but I would love to, and we messaged back and forth. I know you saw the movie with one of your closest friends, Kayla, who is having some internet issues, and we would love to get on the channel at some point. You guys met in person and saw the movie together and stuff like that. So shout out to Kayla if she's watching on the rerun or the live stream. But so without further ado, I mean, we won't go too crazy about it, but what were as the massive Scream fan that you are, what were your overall thoughts of Scream 7?
So I think when me and Kayla went and saw it, I think we ultimately gave it like a solid 7, which is, which according to a lot of people's reviews on the internet is very high compared to some of the stuff I've seen. I've seen a lot of vitriol for this film in particular, but I've also seen a lot of people kind of defend this film a little bit, and I kind of find myself, I would still probably give it like a solid 6.57. I think everything was pretty well done. Like there were a lot of fun little surprises in this one that I didn't really see coming, and I'm really glad I didn't watch a lot of the promotional stuff. I only watched like the first trailer that they ever released, and I kind of refused to watch anything else and kind of stayed away from most of that. So I wasn't spoiled. because I honestly don't know how much was spoiled in the promotional material stuff, but I found myself pleasantly surprised through most of it, and then we get to we get to the possibly the worst killer reveals in the entire franchise, hands down. And I thought 6 was bad. I thought 6 had some pretty bad, but even with 6, I at least liked one of, well, okay, I did like Jessica a lot, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that mostly lends to the fact that I really like the actress Anna Camp,
Okay.
and I have a hell of a lot of respect for her after seeing her interview about how she was like, yeah, they didn't even write um a scene for me. Like, I want to know what was going on in that writer's room. I want to know why,
Wow.
what happened, especially with Kevin Williamson attached. I'm like, what happened, guys?
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah, I don't know. Anna Camp's talking about how she had to basically tell them that there needs to be another scene in here. Like, why isn't there more stuff with me in here? Like, why is there like one scene of me and you guys aren't even like, oh, it was bad. Have you seen that interview, Adam?
No, I was gonna say you got to send me to that. Send me that after the live stream
Okay.
is done, because that is some crazy news. That you know, Kevin
Yeah.
Williamson being the, I mean, he's a great writer. He did so many good things with Dawson's Creek, and I know what you did last summer, and the original Scream and stuff like that. Didn't really have a plan, but it really seems like, I mean, it's no secret or anything. It was just the movie was doomed to start before it even came out, with obviously the firing, unfortunately, of Melissa Barrera, and then and Jenna Ortega says she doesn't want to come back, and then there was another director who I have in my video. I can't remember his name currently, but he was on the project. He got out of the project. Then we get Kevin Williamson, and it's
Yeah.
like we're already starting with this, like, you know, we're digging our own graves here, so to speak, and you know, it's kind of like the fact that they made this movie and this actually happened is you know, an achievement of itself. But like you were saying, it's really crazy how, I mean, I'm looking at Rotten Tomatoes right now, and like the audience score is a 75%, the critic score is a 31%. So there really is a lot of people saying it was amazing, or it was really good, or it was really bad. And I'm kind of like there in the middle. I think I gave it like a 3 or 3.5 out of 5. Um,
Yeah.
could totally agree with you. Like, spoiler alert, guys, you know, Ethan Embry being the killer, and or both of the killers are just horrible. I think they're the worst. They have no background, no context or anything. It's like, oh, it's Sydney's neighbor. I'm like, I don't care about this. And obviously Ethan
Yeah.
Embry and doesn't show up until an hour in, where they're at the sanitarium or something, and there's really no build up or anything. It's like they had to do the Scooby Doo, like, reveal the mask at the end of the film, and it was like, up until then though, I mean, listen, great kills.
Yeah.
McKenna Grace getting sliced in the stomach on the stage was awesome. I forget the actress's name, but she either working at the bar, or her dad or somebody owned the bar. She gets, you know, slid on the top of the bar and stuff like that. So they really used environments and stuff that I thought was unique, and it was something new, and the kills were
Yeah.
really gory. And so I did have a good amount of fun with it. And again, Nev Campbell has really been like a side character for since like the third movie. You know, the fourth
Yeah.
one, it's not focused on her. The fifth one, it's she comes back. Sixth one, she's not even in. And it was really cool to have that sort of aging character of her, seeing Nev Campbell as a mom, Sydney Prescott as a mom. I love her daughter, and the sort of you know, clashing back and forth, which would make sense. She wants to shield her daughter from you know, her past trauma and all that stuff. So I really enjoyed all of that. Even he wasn't really in it that much, but like Joel McHale's character as the husband was good. Although he gets stabbed like 10 times. He gets stabbed a lot. And I'm like, oh, he's fine. He's just in a body bag. And like
Yeah.
that was an issue I had with Scream 6 with Mason Gooding's character, who he's like a rubber magnet, or he gets stabbed 10 times and he's fine.
Yeah.
That was one thing that did bother me. But yeah, I mean, Scream 6, like, the issue, I don't know how to say it. Like, Scream 6, the issue I had is like, you know, they just did the same thing as Scream 2, where it's like it's a family member of the first film. So Scream 1 with Billy Loomis,
Yeah.
and then Debbie Salt is the alias of can't remember her name, for
Nancy.
Laurie Metcalf. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Nancy, yeah, of the second film and stuff like that. So yeah, and then, you know, the three killers in Scream 6, it was like, okay, there's three killers, it's a family, but it wasn't like they wanted to be more meta, and I was like, it didn't really hit for me. It wasn't bad, but I was just like, you know, now we have 3 killers, it's like they did it just to do it. So yeah, I mean, overall, like, I think there's still not a bad Scream film. Like, there's not one, even Scream 3, which is probably in my mind the worst in the franchise.
I disagree, but
is that one, man, that one goes very meta. But even Scream 3 or something, maybe Scream 5, because it's very similar to the original Scream. I don't know. There's still not like that. And we're both big Halloween fans, so there's no resurrection of the franchise. There's no Halloween Ends that like I never want to see again. So
I actually kind of liked Halloween Ends, but I think that's because I went in with like 0 expectations. So
listen, I'm glad you do, but I hated it, man. Ooh, did I hate it?
Oh, you and so many other people I know hated it. So
oh man, so I might actually rather watch Halloween Resurrection, as sad as that is. I'd much rather have a beer with my buddies and like just trash it for an hour and a half than like try to make it seem like it makes sense to Halloween Ends and be like, oh no, what do you mean she was like she was like Sarah Connor, like living in the woods in Halloween 2018, and while Michael was locked up, and now Michael's free and she's living in the suburbs unlocking the doors, and I'm like, what is going on here? So yeah, but listen, you have we talk about Scream, we talk about Halloween and Michael Myers, but on your, I might mix up these two, but on your Instagram, you have a Freddy picture, and then on your, as your profile picture, and on YouTube, you have the Grady twins from The Shining. So obviously you're a massive horror fan and stuff like that. But what is your I mean, we could dive into Freddy, we can dive into The Shining. Are those also some of your favorite characters, or why use them as a profile picture is what I should say?
Oh, I just so I had oh my gosh, what's I'm trying to think of my I had somebody like forever ago, and this was like maybe like 4 years ago. I had someone design some of my logo stuff for me. Oh, you have a message.
I do. We got my buddy Luke 1153, who's probably doing a live stream right now, or at least in a little bit, because I know he does watch alongs on Sunday. Luke, I always appreciate you joining the chat. Go check out Michael's. I have his profiles linked in the description. And if you're doing a live stream, everybody watch him at the same time. We're gonna have my live stream on one, and we're gonna have Luke's on another. So simultaneously watch them, because Luke is the best.
Have 2 screens.
Double screen it. He says, just had a double feature at the theater today with Ready or Not 2 and Reminders of Him. Shout out McKenna Grace. I love her. I had a blast with Ready or Not 2. Reminders of Him was a solid little romantic comedy. Hey, that's awesome. Sounds good, man. I definitely need to check out Ready or Not 2. But sorry to cut you off, Michael. What were your
that's
profile?
It's all good. I'll be sure to check Luke out too. So what was I saying? I don't remember.
The Freddy profile and the Grady twins profile.
Right. Okay. So I had someone that I had hired to make some logo stuff for me, and he did a really good job. I have like a whole bunch more. And so yeah, I do love The Shining, and I kind of based a lot of the images that I use for the We Love Horror podcast on images from like horror that I really like. So yeah, just that's kind of where that came from. And yeah, as far as like The Shining goes, that's also just one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's a masterpiece. Good. I think it's a perfect movie. But
yes.
So I did want to talk about one more thing about Scream 7. I don't want to make this whole live stream about Scream 7.
Go for it. The floor is yours.
There was another issue that I had with Scream 7, and my issue was, and it's so funny that I say this, because if there's anyone that actually tunes into the We Love Horror podcast that's watching this right now, knows that like I've been fighting this battle for so long about the whole stew of it all, of like, he's not alive, guys, he's dead, stop, blah blah blah, it's so stupid. And not that I don't love Matthew Lillard, and not that I don't like the character of Stu, but I was just like, he's dead, guys, get over it, it's not happening. But after watching Scream 7, I'm like, you know what, they should have just had the balls to bring him back. Just fucking bring him back, even if it doesn't make sense. And what they did in the movie actually did make sense. Like, I was actually watching it and I was like, okay, I'm actually buying what you're selling me right now. Right. And then they went the whole AI route, which I'm just like, What are we doing? What are we
See,
doing?
you know what's funny with that? I agree. It would have been cool to bring him back as being alive and stuff like that. I actually didn't
Yeah.
have a problem with the AI stew. I think the issue was I thought that was kind of clever, right? And I thought it was kind of clever
Yeah.
too, bringing Skeet back as sort of like the for lack of a better term, like the PTSD that Melissa Barrera is going through. So it's like he's not alive, but we have his not hologram or whatever you want to call it, his ghost something. So I kind of liked that that way to sort of write yourself out of like a hole because they are dead characters. But at the same time, it's just the execution, right? If you didn't tell us a year ago, hey, Matthew Lillard's going to be in the film, and we would have sat there on Friday night, Thursday night, whatever, and then saw. Even if you kept him as AI Stu, it would have been so cool because people had already been asking for that for 30 years. But I felt like they were so like, because we're missing obviously two of the main stars with Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. They were like, we got to get as many people to see this. And it worked because I'm pretty sure it's the highest grossing Scream film to date, however many millions of dollars it made. So of course there's going to be Scream 8 and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's just like they showed us, you know, they played the card that was dealt or whatever you want to say. And it's just like, it would have been so much better had you not ruined the ending, whether that is you bring back Stu or if you have some other way to tie in a different character. But yeah, I mean, I kind of do. I did a Scream 6 review on my channel, and I think I like it more than Scream 6. Probably like it more than Scream 5, but again, it's more because like, you know, Sydney's there and stuff like that, and she's really not in the other two. And I also liked, I don't know what people have been saying about this, but I liked how Gail didn't get, you know, she got massacred in Scream 6 in her apartment. With her boyfriend got killed and she got stabbed however many times. It's like let her breathe. She's 50 something years old. Like let her not, you know, be a punching bag, so to speak. So I kind of like that she wasn't in on the violence of it. So I did like a lot of the writing choices, but then it's just like to have it fall apart as bad as it did was horrible. But so
I was just like, I don't know. Like I was just like, we get to the end of that and I was like, I'm not mad that Anna Camp is revealed to be one of the killers. Like I'm not mad about that at all. But I'm like, we barely had any screen time with her. She's in like 2 scenes the entire movie. And then we get Ethan Embry's character. Then I completely forgot who this guy even was. He took off the mask and for a split second, I was like, who the hell is this guy? Who is that? And then I remembered he's the guy from the hospital.
Right.
And then the one guy from the coffee shop that gets, you know, that scene was great though, when he gets ran over and it's Gail's car that hits him. The whole theater, my theater clapped. I don't know how your theater was, but it was a fun experience because we were all like, hell yeah. So it was fun to interact with like the audience during this movie because there were a couple of times when my audience that I was with actually like clapped and cheered for certain things. And like there were a lot of great things, like you said, with the Sydney of it all. I thought the story with Sydney and her daughter, and even the story with Sydney and Gail was really good. Like there were certain scenes that like kind of got me teary-eyed. Like, especially the scene at the end when she's talking about Tatum, like that was just that's good writing. But I'm like, it's so inconsistent. I feel like I can tell what writing is Kevin Williamson's and which writing is, I don't remember what the other guy's name is, but there were 2. I think it was co-written by Kevin Williamson and somebody else. And I don't, Guy Busick. Is that who I'm
not sure.
I don't know that. I don't know if I'm right on that. Check my facts. I don't know. But I'm like, I felt like I could tell what writing was Kevin Williamson's and what writing was Guy Busick's. And I'm not trying to be mean by saying that, but I'm like, there's clearly a drop in quality.
And it's funny too, because now that I'm thinking about like Scream 6 and stuff, it's like I actually a lot of people didn't like this, but in Scream 7, like when we take off the Ghostface mask and or, I don't know, an hour into the film or whatever, and we don't know who it is, I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool. Like we don't know who this person is. He's sort of a nameless like pawn or whatever you want to call it. So I kind of like that. I know a lot of people didn't. And then even with Scream 6, when the first killer takes off his mask after he kills Samara Weaving, I was like, well, that's cool. Like we're opening the film with so it's this hard thing where like I'm sure a bunch of people watch the film and they're not as obsessed you know, with the characters as we are, and they can, you know, love it or hate it or let these things pass. But for us, we're like, man, you had it. You just had to tweak a couple things, and like you really it would have been a slam dunk. But yeah, so I mean, Samara, have you seen the original Ready or Not?
Oh, I love that movie. It's one of my favorites, and
it's great.
I'm a diehard Sarah Michelle Gellar fan, have been for the last 22 years. So
Oh yeah,
I mean, my first introduction was with Sarah Michelle Gellar was going and seeing The Grudge in the theater back in
nice,
2004 with my dad. And I was
nice.
like, who is this woman? I'm absolutely in love with her. I've
Yep.
been obsessed with her for the last 20 years. So to see her making like a comeback in the horror industry, it just makes me so happy. It makes me
Yeah.
so happy to see her come back and actually get like good roles and stuff. And
Yeah.
it's unfortunate about the whole Buffy thing that happened.
I was just gonna say that, yeah, which I don't really understand. And again, correct me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong, but I think like either a producer or somebody didn't like it the whole time, and one person pulled the plug, which doesn't. I don't know how that happens. I don't really know how writing
Yeah.
stuff. Why would one person be the downfall when everybody else can okay it, or it's this far in production? Because to my mind, I thought they were like filming it, or I didn't think they were just writing it and stuff.
They had already filmed, I think, the pilot episode. I think they'd already filmed the
Right.
first episode.
So that
So
just I don't understand.
yeah, and I don't understand why one person has to be like so I don't know. There's just people in this world that don't want anybody else to have a good time because they're miserable, so they're going to make everyone
Sounds
else
like it.
miserable. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, so this guy made it very known that he does not like Buffy. He's never watched the show. He doesn't ever want to. And like I love that Sarah Michelle Gellar was so outwardly like shady about it too. She did not mince words. She was like, no, there was this one guy that was in here that just made it very known from the beginning that he was not a fan of what we
Right.
were doing. And I'm like, yes, you sell your truth, girl. Because most people would, some people are like, oh, well, I don't want to see anything mean. And Sarah
Right.
just put it all out there. And I said, good for you.
Right.
The only thing you didn't do was give us this producer's name so I'm not one to go send hate on anybody's page, but like
Right.
it's just one of those things where it's like some people piss me off because I'm like, so you're miserable, so let's make everyone else miserable. Got it.
But it's also like we were saying, like if that would have happened, I don't know. Say they just announced it and they didn't write it, or it was in early pre-development or whatever they call it. I would be like, oh, okay, like it sucks, but it makes sense. But I don't understand why it's like so far in development and then they could pull it. Like, why would you waste all that time, money, and effort and then be like, oh no, we're just pulling it. But we got my buddy John Doe Juggalo, aka Jeff. What's going on, Jeff? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, John Doe or Jeff, how are you?
Yeah, I always say John by mistake. That's just his handle username, but Jeff is his real name. But yeah, I always
okay.
Yeah, so I would love to see Ready or Not too. But Sarah Michelle Gellar definitely having a good renaissance. She was in unfortunately, the horrible 2025. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't know if you saw that, but
I didn't think it was okay. I didn't think it was that bad, but I just was like, I think I was on such a high after because let me talk about that for a second because that was so much fun for me because I did not know she was in this movie. Thank God I wasn't spoiled by other people that had seen it before I was able to go see it. I had no clue that she was in this movie. So we get to that scene, and even when I see her on the stage with her back turned to the other character, I thought it was going to be her seeing herself.
Okay.
Like I thought she was going to turn around and it was going to be her, not Sarah Michelle Gellar, but the other actress. I can't think of her name right now. I thought she was just going to see herself. So even when she's standing there on the stage, I'm like, that's not Sarah. That can't be. And then she turned around and I went, I like almost stood up in my seat because everyone that knows me knows that Helen Shivers is like one of my like. I'm gonna say she's a final girl. Most people wouldn't consider her a final girl because she dies, but I'm like, nope, she's a final girl to me. She's in my eyes, she is the ultimate, one of the ultimate final girls. So to see her on the screen again, I was like so happy, even if it was just for like a stupid little dream sequence. But
no, I mean we'll take it again. She's having a good renaissance, and I love the 90s are my sort of favorite decade of everything. So to have her making a renaissance, Matthew Lillard making a renaissance, some not really, but somewhat with Freddie Prinze Jr. doing the I Know What You Did Last Summer and stuff like that, and they really deserve it because you feel bad after like a lot of artists have their time, so to speak, and theirs were in the 90s and everything, and then they obviously fall off and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean they're coming back in a big way, and especially Matthew Lillard and stuff like that. So I really appreciate it. But what was I gonna say? Do you go to have you been to a lot of conventions or anything? I don't know if I've asked you that.
I wish I had been to more conventions. I think I've only ever been to one, and it was like back in like I want to say like 2019. So it's been a long time.
Okay.
COVID kind of turned me into a little bit of a hermit there for a bit. I kind of went through a depressive stage for a little while,
Uh-huh.
and I wasn't really doing a whole lot. I mean, I just recently started traveling again this past year. Back in 2025, I started doing more traveling again.
Hmm.
So yeah, unfortunately I haven't, but I do want to go to more conventions in the upcoming, either this year or next year for sure.
Yeah.
So, and I know that you put a lot of convention content on your YouTube page. I've watched a few of them. They're really good. Like,
Thank
I
you.
think
Yeah.
that's, you always make it look so much fun too. So
That's my new drug, so to speak. I was in college and I just say in college. I went to concerts like so many times a year, and that was my thing with my best friend. And now, unfortunately, that my friends have moved out of state and stuff like that, and I've started the YouTube channel. It's been a fun world that I didn't even know existed. So to be able to meet, I just met Skeet Ulrich. I met David Arquette. I met Roger L. Jackson, the voice of Ghostface. Like all these people that like you've watched for so long, and it's kind of like uh, uh, better than a concert because you're face to face, you can shake their hand, you get something to hold for the rest of your life. And yeah, so something like that is just so much fun, and I encourage anybody to start going to those because it just you meet people, you meet friends, you have these lifelong memories, and so it's definitely a lot of fun. So hopefully in your area there are conventions because New Jersey's like a huge area that there's
yeah.
one a month. So it's a good area to live with the convention circuit.
Yeah, where I live right now, currently, I live in Kansas and I kind of live in a really small town. The nearest like big town is probably 3 hours away from me, and that's Wichita. So I'm sure they probably do some horror conventions in Wichita. It's just a little more difficult for me to get out there, but I'm gonna definitely try my best. I
Yeah.
actually was super jealous of my one of my friends because he went to a few weeks back. He went and saw because the Scream Forecast did like a convention. I don't remember
Oh, really?
exactly
Cool.
where, but he like met like Emma Roberts and all the people that were in Scream 4. And I'm like, oh, I was so jealous about the Emma Roberts one because I'm like, she is my favorite ghost face. She probably will always be my favorite ghost face. I mean, I have a artwork up here in the back. I don't know if you guys can see that,
Zoom in. I'm
but
gonna make you bigger.
yeah, but my friend in the corner right there, my friend Anthony, he does like artwork, and I have a whole bunch more of his prints that he made for me. But it's like the scene where she's in the hospital, like she's got the gun aimed at Gail.
Uh-huh.
Uh, so I want to take that to a convention if Emma Roberts ever goes to another one, and I want her to sign it because that would be so cool. So
Well, she was one of those people where I'm gonna date myself right now, but I am born in '96. I'm 30 years old, and growing up, she was one of those people that were, a couple years older than myself, I would just say. But she was killing it with like, who remembers Unfabulous? Who remembers
I
Aquamarine?
used to watch
Listen,
Unfabulous, so
listen. She had her guitar and she was strumming her
yep,
acoustic guitar and being an angsty teen like we all were. But it was one of those things where it's like cool that we one of those first people that we sort of somewhat pseudo grew up with, along with, the
yeah,
Hillary Duffs and Miley Cyruses and all that stuff. But it was a cool little it was a cool little uh change of pace for her career when she does Scream when in 2011 or so. And I have to rewatch it, man. I currently put it like through closer to the bottom of the list, but I
mm-hmm.
have not seen it in like a decade. And a bunch of people are telling me like it ages super well and like all these things. And
Yeah,
there's a rumor that the 4K is supposed to let me adjust over here real quick. There's a rumor that the 4K is supposed to be coming out at some point, but I have all the other ones on 4K, but this one doesn't have a 4K. So at some point when a 4K comes out, I'll give it a rewatch, and hopefully they fix the horrible like brightness, something that's a big problem
yeah.
with the film. Because that was a big thing for me. I'm like, I just can't watch it. It looks like it's one of the worst cinematography wise, like not just horror films, like films. I don't know what they did. I really don't know what they did.
uh,
So that's a
yeah.
gripe for the film. But really, you know what they should have done? Listen, I enjoy the ending, but they should have let her got away with it. How cool would it
I
have been
agree.
if she was the only ghost face that got away with it? Um,
Because I love and I'm guessing you know how they were going to originally end Scream 4 and how they were going to go continue with the franchise going forward, or no?
I do not. Enlighten me, please.
So originally they were going to have Jill actually survive, and it was going to be left up to like, it was going to be left on a cliffhanger and whether or not Sydney survived or not. So like, we were not supposed to know whether Sydney survived. All we know is that Jill gets away with it for the meantime. And then it was supposed to be like something, I remember them vaguely talking about like maybe Sydney has like memory loss or something and doesn't remember like that Jill's the killer, but then Jill's supposed to be in college now and she's being stalked by someone else that knows what she did, kind of a thing. That was apparently supposed to be like somewhat of a storyline going forward. And I'm like, that would have been such an interesting, because we've never gotten a Scream film where the killer actually gets out scot-free and gets away with what they did. And Jill was honestly, of all the ghost faces, she's still the only one that's like the closest to ever doing it. So got to give respect where respect is due. I'm like, put some respect on this woman's name. She freaking did above and beyond what most ghost faces do to get away with what she tried to get away with. So
no, 100%. And no, I've really so I enjoyed that aspect of her. And there's a show, I mean, you probably remember, I don't remember. She was in a TV show that was like horror centric or something like that. And
Scream Queens?
I think so, if that's what it is.
It was also American Horror Story. She was also in American Horror Story, so maybe
maybe it's Scream Queens. Was Jamie Lee Curtis also in that?
Yeah, Scream Queens.
Okay, yeah. So I would love to. I've never checked it out. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but I would love to see that, just to see her in more horror films. And
I believe it's on Hulu, Adam.
Cool. Yeah,
I think so. I will say the first season is pretty solid. I don't remember if I cared for the second season as much, because I think they only did 2 seasons of Scream Queens, and then it kind of got, I don't know if it got canceled or they just ended it after that. It's been it's been over almost 10 years since the first season came out, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, no, I would encourage you to check it out. It's pretty funny, the first season. So
well, speaking of TV shows, what did you, I'm sure you saw it because you're a big fan. What did you think of the Scream TV show?
I like it. Okay. I'll say the first season, there's elements of the first season that I don't care for, because I think the first season's got more of that MTV, like, oh, you cheated on me with this person and blah. It's like more drama centered, as opposed to season 2, when you really get into like a lot, like season 2 is such an upgrade from season 1 in every way, like better characters, better kills, like the killer reveals are still fucking lame in the second season, but I liked it. And then season 3, don't even bother with it because it's not good.
I fell off at some point. My ex-girlfriend really liked it. So we were going through it I don't for sure saw the first season. I don't know if we went to the second season or so. And I had a little crush on spoiler alert, on Bella Thorne. She was in like Shake It Up. Right. And then she was in this, and she was sort of, again, like the hit MTV girl or whatever you want to call her. Right. Same age as us and stuff like that. And so spoiler alert, she gets killed in the first. She's the opening. Right. She's the opening first kill in the.
She's the Casey Becker, so to speak, because a lot of people were comparing her, like her opening death scene to Casey Becker's. And I was like, there's no comparison. I love you, Bella Thorne. No comparison.
Right. Yeah. But we fell off, or I fell off at some point. But it was okay. Maybe I'll check out some episodes here and there, but I wasn't really die hard on it. But we've got a constant viewer of the channel. I appreciate Stacy. Acres of Movie. She says, hello, Stacy. Best Jeremy Irons performance. She always comes up with great questions. For me, I mean, I probably gotta say Scar from The Lion King, because it's my favorite animated movie of all time. If you said, okay, it has to be a in-person performance, he's the villain in Die Hard 3, Die Hard with a Vengeance. I think he's Hans Gruber's like brother or cousin or something like that. So that would be for me. I don't know if you have anything to add there, Michael, for Jeremy Irons.
I'm going to be boring and basically say pretty much exactly what you said. I think his portrayal of Scar in The Lion King is perfection. Like, I don't think you get any better than that, really.
I mean, he's one of the best villains, scariest villains. I mean, to kill his brother and to take the throne and do all these things are just like these topics in a kid's movie that were just and his voice is so haunting and menacing. So I would go with that. And then Die Hard 3 is probably my second favorite. Like Die Hard's my favorite, but I would say Die Hard 3 is my second favorite in the franchise. Definitely more than 2. I can't remember much of 2. I remember more of 3 with Samuel Jackson. and they're running around Los Angeles and stuff like that. But we've also got my buddy Joel, who I was speaking about before, at Darkroom Reviews. What up, guys? Michael, you got to check out Joel. He's a great content creator. And Joel, we were talking about Michael actually found my channel from the video I did with Ken from Sledgehammer Horror. So this is happening right now thanks to you, Joel. So we appreciate you right there. But we've got another one. What else are we seeing? We've got Stacy saying, do a Jason versus Michael movie or winner of that versus Pinhead or movie. I know there was supposed to be, I think the problem with the Jason versus Michael is that they don't talk. So I think the cool thing about like Freddy and Jason was, even if you didn't like that movie in the early 2000s, like somebody has to have like the quips and the jokes. It would be a little bit not boring, but it's like it's hard to have them fighting each other and nobody says a word. And I think I don't know if Pinhead, there was something, was it like Ash versus Pinhead or Michael versus some, there was something else supposed to happen. I don't know if it was before, you might know, Michael, before or after Freddy versus Jason, but another big duo together.
I don't remember exactly who was supposed to be facing off against one another, but I do remember there being an announcement there was going to be like another sort of film like that never got made. But yeah, I don't know. I do agree though. I think that I would love to see a Jason and Michael movie though, because I'd love to see who gets out of that situation alive. Right. But I do agree that it'd be a pretty quiet movie because neither of them talk. So
right. But that's why I liked that. I mean, shout out. People hate this movie, but Freddy versus Jason, I have fun. I have fun with it. Like, it's really cheesy. It's really 2000s. It's like all this stuff, but it's I don't know. It's what's that YouTube thing where it's like I don't know, but it's just they pick two characters and they fight each other and someone makes it on a computer and stuff like that. It's really just like
a battle royale or something.
Yeah, it's just like a prerequisite to that. But I think, you know what I think what would be fun would be Chucky and Leprechaun, because not only do they both, they both talk, but they're both in the same size and stuff like that. So I would definitely watch that. But and then you have to write it in a way where obviously Jason is bigger and stronger and faster, but Freddy is you know, he has the dream world and stuff like that. So I thought it had a little bit fun writing, but of course it's stupid how Jason's like afraid of water and like all these little things and stuff like that. But we still got I think this is Robert Englund's last portrayal, because he doesn't do the remake in this was before the so I think this was his last portrayal of the character. Because Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake was like 2011. So but yeah, I have fun with this one. I really although a lot of people don't. So but
I think people need to put more respect on early 2000s horror movies. Can we open the case on that? I feel like I hear so many people talk so much trash about like early 2000s, because like people are like, oh, that was the era of remakes, and I'm like, there are quite a few good remakes in the early 2000s. We have The Hills Have Eyes. We have, personally, I think the Friday the 13th remake is really good, even though technically, in my opinion, I don't feel like it's a remake. But like, there's House of Wax is another one I ride or die for. I defend that movie to hell and back. I will always defend House of Wax. I think that's a great movie. I even Paris Hilton. Exactly. I love, I love Paris Hilton. Even films like Prom Night, like I don't have a problem with Prom Night. I think it's a decently made movie. I think that has some fun set pieces. I think the only thing that could have been better was it should have gotten an R rating. And I feel the same way about the When a Stranger Calls remake. Both of those movies could have been better if they had been R rated instead of PG-13. But
Dawn of the Dead with Zack Snyder. Or Dawn of the Dead is really good. I think hopefully now, because I think, in the 2010s, just to pick a time, like the 90s, and it's still in a renaissance and stuff like that, but I feel like everything works on 20 years. Like in the 2000s, we were going back to the 80s, and the 90s was about the 70s and stuff. So I think in the 2010s, we were going back to the 90s, but hopefully now we've had this like Y2K renaissance and aesthetic and stuff like that, and putting respect on older films and music and stuff like that. But the 2000s, even films that you were talking about The Grudge before, The Ring is at least in my top 3 horror films of the 2000s. 28 Days Later, one of the best zombie films. I still need to see the newer Yeah, I still need to see the newer ones. But what else, man? The Ring, The Grudge, The Descent. Shout out The Descent.
So good.
That is a phenomenal
Oh,
original idea for a horror film.
one of my other favorite movies from the early 2000s is, or I guess this would be later 2000s, is 30 Days of Night. That movie is
Wow, I haven't seen that in a while.
so good. That movie is, and
Hartnett?
I'm not a huge fan of vampire movies, but
Okay.
that film is so good to me. Like the vampires are scary, the setting is really good. I don't know, that movie is just so good. And the, well, Amityville Horror too, if we're talking about remakes still, that's another one that
Yep.
I really like too. That I think a lot of people for some reason hate on that one, and I'm like, I think it's good. I think I might argue it's better than the original Amityville Horror. I kind of
It
find
might
the
be
original
better.
kind of boring, but
Yeah.
that's
No, it
just
might be
one of my
better.
hot takes.
Love me some Ryan Reynolds. So he killed it in that. Yeah, Josh Hartnett was in 30 Days a Night, I believe.
Yeah.
And just the
Melissa
unique.
George too, because she's in 30 Days a Night and the Amityville Horror remake, and I love Melissa George. I think we need to put her in more horror stuff too.
Was she the wife, the main female
Yeah.
protagonist? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I remember her. Yeah, that's a scary. Anytime you have a I don't know. I like those possession films too. Like slashers are my favorite, but again, we talked about The Shining. We talked about maybe not a possession, but sort of the supernaturalness of The Ring, and what else is really good. I don't know. We talked a lot about the 90s and stuff like that. What are your talked about the 80s? Do you go back to like 70s or 80s and stuff like that? Obviously with Halloween and with The Shining we talked about and stuff like that. But what is your it's hard for me to watch some stuff in like the 60s and 70s because they're very dated, especially you're talking about Amityville Horror and stuff like that. Like I love Margot Kidder and Brolin and stuff like that, but yeah, sometimes it's very slowly paced. But yeah, I don't know, 70s horror films that you're in love with, or
I love Suspiria. I think that's a great film.
God, yes.
If we're still on the remake topic first, I think the remake is really good too.
It is.
Suspiria is great. I think there's another one I'm thinking of. Oh, Black Christmas is great. I'm not a Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan in the slightest, but I do respect the film for what it did. So I give respect to the film. I don't like that film personally. It's not for me. But like I do like The Exorcist, which is another film that like if I had seen it when I was younger, it would have scared me a lot more. But like that movie, it doesn't scare me that much. So like, but I get why it was scary back in the day when that movie came out. I'm sure that was horrifying.
Yeah.
But that's another movie that it's like unpopular opinion of mine that I'm like, The Exorcist is a great movie, but it's not my favorite. Like, it's not a movie I'm like, you know what? I feel like watching The Exorcist today.
Yeah.
But what 80s movies too? There's a lot of 80s movies that I really like. You know, you have The Shining, obviously. You have Halloween 2. Most of the good Halloween movies were in the 80s and in the 70s, and then you get in the 90s and it's well, H2O is good, but
I love I think H2O has aged beautifully. I think a lot of people watched that film in 98 or 99 or the late 90s when it came out, and we're like, oh, they're just trying to copy Scream and do all that stuff. But since the Blumhouse trilogy came out, I think it's made those films look better, or made that film H2O look better, because you know, a lot of people have issues with like it being a different setting and not feeling like Halloween, but I like that it's at a college and it's like a secluded campus and stuff like that. I love LL Cool J's hysterical. He's writing like romance novels, talking to his girlfriend on the phone, and we've got the pseudo meta moment of Jamie Lee Curtis's mom in the film as the teacher that she runs into, and I really like the if it's a sequel to the original Halloween or the first two Halloween films, you know, she has to have a life. So she's a teacher, but she's still struggling with alcohol and pill addiction and stuff like that. And but she, you know, she still has those visions of Michael and stuff like that. So it's kind of like what you it's just more realistic than her being secluded and shooting dummies and stuff like that in Halloween 2018. And she has a kid and all that stuff. And I really would have, I don't know, I get them wanting to do their own thing with Blumhouse, but it really would have been cool if for these Blumhouse films you would have had Josh Hartnett and Daniel Harris come back as Jamie's kids,
Yeah.
which is never going to happen again. But that would have been a cool way to continue it. But I understand they wanted to do their own thing. So.
Yeah, there's, you know, sometimes you think about the what ifs, right? You're like, what if they would have just done this differently, you know? And then sometimes I wonder, like, why they don't just hire people like us? Because sometimes not to toot my own horn here, but sometimes I feel like we can come up with better ideas than most of these people that have been in Hollywood for years and years. And it's just like, you know, I think it's time to let, you know, the little people like us, maybe direct and write some films for you guys, because it's clear that you guys are not not up to par with certain things, especially if we're talking about like the Halloween trilogy. Like I will say I'm mostly satisfied with that trilogy, but I also think there's so many things they could have done differently. Like, and I've suggested things like to other people that I'm like, that would have made this so much better, you know? And so like there's just so many movies that like I feel like, come on guys, what are we doing? You know?
Right.
So.
What'd you think about Kills? Because we talked about 2018 and Ends. What'd you like about Halloween Kills?
So I've kind of gone through an interesting journey with Halloween Kills, because I think when it first came out, I had a lot of, because that hospital scene really ruins a lot of what made Kills good to me. I hated that hospital scene. I hated it the first time I watched it. I hated it going back and seeing it again pretty recently. That's like one of the only things that really kind of destroys Halloween Kills for me. Everything else is fine. I just think they should have had more of a story.
Yep.
Otherwise, I think Kills is very decently made. The flashbacks to 1978 were perfection. I was so blown away by those scenes. I was like sitting there in the theater. I remember watching that in the theater and being like, holy shit. I feel like I'm watching Halloween 1978 again. It was incredible. And I'm like, so why couldn't you guys do the same with the rest of this film? Like, why are you guys so good at doing? And that's the frustrating thing, right? Is like, you get these people that like are so good at doing certain things, and then they somehow figure out how to fuck up everything else, you know? And it's like, how are you this good at making this scene, and then later on down the line, you know, halfway through the movie, you screw it up somehow. I don't know.
Right. Well, even the little details about, I thought the Loomis that they used was like CGI or whatever. And apparently that's a real actor, and they use prosthetics and all these things. Yeah. And I thought he looked great. He sounded great. Again, the kills were phenomenal. If you just turn your brain off and try not to think about it, I thought the kills were amazing. It's just the writing of things, you know, the Evil Dies Tonight chant is horrible. I didn't like the eye roll. I'm rolling my eyes, you just can't see it. I like Anthony Michael Hall. I just didn't like his portrayal of Tommy, whatever his name is, Doyle. And not that I liked Paul Rudd's either.
I would take Paul Rudd's over.
But I might, right.
Yeah.
I might take Paul Rudd's over that. The ending is like, Michael just wanted to go back to his house. Like, what were we leading up to this whole time? And then Halloween Ends starts, and they're like, oh, he's been in the sewer for years. And I'm like, so why? I don't know. Yeah. It's like the more you think about it, the more problems that arise.
Yeah. Well, then they can't decide whether or not he's a man, or if he's like evil incarnate, or he's a man. They go back and forth between that. Like, they're like, no, he's a man. He can be killed, blah, blah, blah. And then like literally like the next sentence, Laurie Strode's like, he's an unstoppable force of nature. He cannot be killed. And it's like, okay, but like in the last movie, you just said he could. So consistency is an issue here.
I like the daughter in that film specifically. The first film as well, but that film as well. And you even get a redemptive arc for the boyfriend a little bit, who's like an asshole, like cheats on her in 2018, and then he gets the brutal like neck snap on the stairwell. So yeah, I mean, there's good, there's bad. One of the best, not only kills, but just like shots of Michael Myers stepping out of the house with the axe, like it's lit on fire, and he's got the axe. And I would say a controversial thing that James Jude Courtney might have done the best Michael Myers, either in that film or in the 2018 film. Like, love me some probably Dick Warlock as well. Like, yeah, but James Jude Courtney is a beast. He really just was amazing. Um,
I might even say, like, this might be unpopular opinion too. I think Tyler Mane is a great Michael Myers too. I know that not a lot of people like the Rob Zombie ones, but I think Tyler Mane did a really good job too. Like, I'm always privy to choosing Nick Castle because he's just the OG, but like, I mean, James Jude Courtney, Tyler Mane, like all these people, I'm like, they're right up there with him. So I
uh-huh.
think most of them are great. So
Yeah, Tyler Means I like his. My thing that and it has nothing to do with him. It's more of a casting thing. Like, he's a nice guy. He does a great performance. But when I think of Michael Myers personally, and it's wrong, other people can have their own opinions because that's what we do. We're all subjective opinions watching movies and stuff like that. But when I think of Michael Myers, I think of like he could be your neighbor across the street. Like, he's just a normal guy, normal presence, like short, skinny, like he faceless, nameless, whatever. And when you make him like a former WWE wrestler or whatever he was, you're like, this guy's like 7 foot and massive and stuff. I get it. Do something different. Like, that doesn't offend me as much as the Halloween End stuff does. Because he's just brutal. Even walking in the hospital with his paper mache orange mask, and he's so, massive and all that stuff. Like, he's just more. That iteration is just more visceral and lifelike and stuff like that. But Halloween 2 has raised in my ranking over the years. It's really a great performance by Scout and Daniel Harris and I can't remember. Geez. Daniel Harris's dad was the guy who voices Chucky that I can't remember off the top of my head.
I had it and it went away.
Brad Dourif.
Yes, thank you. Yeah,
Brad Dourif. They really have a lot of choices in that film that, like, in 2009 when it came out, that like films have been copying. Like, they're really in the 2000s. There wasn't like, Scout goes to therapy and talks to her therapist and tries to live a normal life and is dealing with all these things that, like, now we just saw that in Scream 6 with Melissa Barrera's character, like going to a therapist and doing all that stuff. That's great. We should have more conversations like that in horror films. But they shit on that 15, 16 years ago, and now it's like, oh, we're gonna do the same thing, but still not give Rob Zombie the credit. So that kind of irks me a little bit.
I'm glad that you said the Halloween 2 has gone up in your ranking. I don't know exactly where you have it ranked, but since we did the episode, but I will say Halloween 2 is in my top 5, and that's a really controversial opinion. I don't think there's many people that have Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 even in their top 10. I think it's mostly people's bottom, and I'm like, there's something about that movie that just captivates me. I don't know what it is. I think it's just because it is so different than any other Halloween movie we've ever gotten before. I will say it's like not a Halloween film I can watch too often because it's just so nihilistic and so dark, and just like there is no happy ending in Halloween 2. I mean, and granted, that's supposed to be the point because it's a horror movie, but sometimes I need a little bit of levity with my horror films. I feel like Halloween 2 was just from the jump, just a dark, no hope, nothing. It's just very the whole movie, and I'm just like, yeah, I need to breathe a little bit.
You just take a bath after the film.
Yeah. I feel like I'd have to shower, but that's how I feel about most of Rob Zombie's films after I watch them, if not all of them. I'm like, I need to shower because I feel really disgusting now. So
well, I probably haven't done a ranking in a while. I'm not the best at ranking things. But I mean, I know for a fact that like Resurrection and Ends are going to be at the bottom. I know what they just can't do it. I know at the top is going to be like, the first 2 and 4, and then maybe H2O. The middle, I don't really know. Again, I love the first one. I love the second one. I love the fourth one. I really can't. When films are so different, like I can't put. I love Halloween 3, but I couldn't be like, oh, it's. I don't know, just because it's so different and it's not like a slasher film.
Yeah.
So I love that film. I really don't like. 5. I kind of don't like. There's really not much I like about 5.
5 has really good. What's the word? Set pieces is what I was trying to say. Like, I don't think 5 as a whole is a great movie, but it's got some good moments. Like I really like that barn scene where he kills the 2 people in the barn. I
Mhm.
love the laundry chute scene where she's like in the Myers house and he's trying to kill her through like there's so many good scenes in Halloween 5, but the movie as a whole is not good.
Yeah.
Um and I will also say other unpopular opinion, I love Tina. I
Oh yeah,
love
I hate
her.
Tina. Yeah, which is fine. Like it's a love hate,
Yeah.
but I can't stand her.
Oh, I love her. I think she's a better character than Rachel.
That is
I
we're ending
know.
the stream right
Hurt.
now. No, I'm just kidding.
And that's where all of your viewers do not subscribe to me. They're like, no, we're done. Bye.
Rachel Carruthers to me is one of the best. Excluding, I don't know how to say. She's one of the best final girls, like even out of
Yeah.
the Halloween franchise, and that's what stinks so much about 5, where it's like she just gets killed in such an easy way, so quick in the
Yeah.
beginning, and I hate the choice of Daniel Harris, who's a phenomenal, younger actress. She can't speak, and I'm like, what are we doing here? And Loomis is so mean to her, which is fine. I kind of get the choice of like him being mad and crazy because he's seen so much, but he's such an asshole that you can't even root for him anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's rough.
and spoiler alert for our ranking that will be on Michael's channel. I hate that mask so much.
The 5 one. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's horrible.
I know that I had mentioned in our ranking of that, I was like, I know that I kind of warmed up to it slightly, but it's still pretty far down in the bottom. I'm like, there's something about it that I kind of like. And maybe it's just because it's so different from the other masks, but I'm like, it's still not a good mask. Let's just be
Right.
clear on that. It's not good. I'm not saying that there's something about it that I like. It's more so I don't know. I hate it, but still.
Well, since we were speaking about, since we were talking about the masks of Michael, I don't know if I asked you, what's your favorite? I'll show you mine, but what's your favorite? We'll do a live ranking of
Okay.
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch masks. So you can see hopefully
Ooh.
which one my favorite is up there. Actually, I'll grab it. I'll make it easier. My favorite. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah, my favorite. I love skulls. Like the basic Halloweeny guy that I am, but this is my favorite. I would say the witch or the hag, whatever you want to call it, is my second favorite.
Yeah.
I love the felt hood that she has on, the bright green to it, and then the jack-o'-lantern would be the bottom, which is it's still fine, but it's like you can get you see jack-o'-lanterns all around, but I really like the sculpt of this. I don't know how to describe it, but just putting another skull next to it. I don't know. This looks very plain, even though I love the Misfits one, but just the depth and the details for a mask from the 80s are phenomenal. So this one would be my favorite of the 3. And without further ado, what are you thinking about your ranking of the Halloween 3 masks?
I would probably put that one as number 1 as well. I think my ranking is exactly the same as yours. Is that one, the witch, and then the pumpkin at the very end. And yes, and I think Halloween 3 is awesome as well.
Yeah, that one has. I knew. I wonder what I would have thought if I've seen it when it came out, and I was born back then and stuff like that. But we're gonna let him just hang out here for the rest of the stream. So I knew watching it that like Michael wasn't in the film because it was on TV, and I read the backstory and stuff like that. And but man, I have a review on the channel, and I just love that film so much. I love Colonel Cochran is such a jerk. He's just like a great villain. He's making these masks to do this sort of like Samhain tradition of like sacrificing the planet, so to speak, to start all over. I like that it doesn't need to be explained. Like I'm the person where it's like, okay, Michael is just the shape. He's evil. It doesn't matter if he gets stabbed all the time, so he'll just come back. People are like, how did we get pieces of Stonehenge in here? And I'm like, I don't care. I just think it's a cool idea. And if you touch it, it shoots a blue laser into you and you'll die.
You'll die. Yeah.
I'm in. Like, let's do it. So, things like that are so cool. Again, the kills are great. Tom Atkins is great. Stacey Nelkin, who didn't really go on to do much after, had a good performance.
Yeah.
And so again, if they would have just called it Season of the Witch, I think people would have loved it. But unfortunately, they were trying something different. But you know, we got Halloween 4, so it didn't really end up so badly there.
Yeah.
But
And I think Halloween 4 is a pretty decent film. I really enjoy Halloween 4. It's not one that I put on all the time, but I don't turn it off when it's on either. So I think it's. I also think Danielle Harris is so. I'm sad we missed an opportunity to bring Danielle Harris back for like the Halloween trilogy, like you were mentioning earlier. I think she would have been great, and I think it was a missed opportunity. But
I think the problem. Oh, let me get to these chats. So Jeff says Halloween 3 is awesome. Attaboy, Jeff. Jeff knows what's up. We've got Jeff also saying 3 is the scariest because the victims are kids, and if you see it when you're a kid and put the two thoughts, yeah, no, absolutely. Stacy also says, who should play a new Colonel Cox? I thought that in the Halloween TV show that they were going to do, I don't know if that's actually happening or whatever, that it wasn't going to be like Halloween 3, but it was going to be like new stories without Michael Myers. I don't know if that was actually going to happen or something like that. But no, Dan O'Harely was phenomenal as Colonel Cochran. And that's one of his last roles. I mean, I know he's in RoboCop and stuff like that, but that was one of his last roles in his later career. But I forgot what I was going to say. I think the thing with Danielle Harris was since they cast a new person in Halloween Curse of Michael Myers, a new actress, and she was older and she got killed, that led for her to come back for the Rob Zombie films. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that she wasn't in 6, because if she would have been killed there, they wouldn't have brought her back. So I'm glad that they brought her back for Rob Zombies. But then since she gets killed in that one, that's why, and she plays a different character. She's not, she's not the same person. She's not Jamie Lloyd. She's Jamie Lloyd in 4 and 5. And then in the Rob Zombie one, she's Annie Brackett, Sheriff Brackett's daughter. So I think they just didn't want to recast her again. Like they could have had her as Jamie Lloyd again, but the same thing. Then they're like, oh, we're not going to bring Josh Hartnett. And they're trying to like, even how they did the choices of like, Michael's not Laurie's sister. They kind of wanted to take all the sequels and just throw them away, which I understand. Yeah. But, and I actually kind of like Michael being Laurie's sister. I don't know how you feel about that in Halloween 2, but
I'm kind of back and forth with it. I like it, but I also don't like it, because I think the only reason I don't like it is because it gives Michael a motive, and like we don't want Michael to have a motive. I think it's scarier that he's just picking random people. Okay. Like picking and choosing his victims as opposed to like killing people that are his family and only killing people that get in his way. I think that's the only reason I don't like it. And I honestly kind of think it was a mistake to kind of retcon everything after Halloween, like the original Halloween, because the other reason why I think Halloween Kills is so ridiculous and kind of stupid with like the mob mentality thing is because for something that happened 40 years ago, this town is certainly revved up over something that happened. Most of these people weren't even like old enough to remember it. So it's like, why are all these people so up in arms about killing Michael Myers when the only thing that's ever happened was 40 years ago, and then another 20 years before, or almost 20 years before that with Judith. So it's like, for all these people to be as amped up as they were, it didn't make sense to me because you retconned everything else. It would have made sense if, you would have kept Halloween 1 and 2, and then maybe, 4 at the most, like, just stuff like that to make more sense as to why these people are so revved up about killing. Evil dies tonight. I'm like, well, it's you guys are overreacting just a little bit.
Exactly. So Jeff says there are technically 3. I never thought about this. There are technically 3 Halloween films: Season of the Witch, Return of Michael Myers, and Halloween Kills. That's a really good point, because with Return of Michael Myers, it's I really need a map to like understand. It's like 1, 2, and 4. Obviously, you'll put 3 in there, and with Halloween Kills, it's like it's like the first. It's like Halloween 2018 or Halloween the original one, Halloween 2018, and Halloween Kills, and so that it's just hard to do. It's also one of those things where it's like, of course, we're gonna get another Halloween film, we're gonna get another Scream film, we're gonna get another at some point Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff. But when you've done over 10 iterations, it's kind of like you have to do something different. And had they would have made Halloween 2018 when H2O came out and Laurie was the shut-in and she was Rambo and she was doing all that stuff, it would have made sense, you know.
Yeah.
It just, when you, exactly what you were saying before, is when you retcon Halloween 2, which is the last one Laurie is in until Halloween H2O, it's like, you know, two of her friends died, and her friend's boyfriend that Bob, that she never really met, died, and it's just like, now she's, I don't know. So,
well,
yeah.
And Jamie Lee Curtis did make a very valid point with that as well, because like I'm on the same boat that you are, where I'm kind of like, you know, what is the big deal? It did kind of happen 40 years ago. And I kind of thought it was funny that they kind of added that line for that character to say in Halloween 2018, where he's like, didn't he kill like 3 people 40 years ago? Why is your grandmother such a quack? And
right.
So I think I like that they kind of recognize that, but I also kind of like that Jamie Lee Curtis added the commentary of like, well, therapy wasn't really as much of a thing as it is now.
Right.
So it's understandable that she didn't get the help that she needed for the trauma that she went through. She was just kind of expected to go back to school. Like everything was fine, you know, like Jamie Lee Curtis kind of explained it like, you know, it happened. Laurie probably went back to school. She probably continued on with her life as if nothing happened, and she didn't really get the help or the closure that she needed. So it's understandable to a certain extent why she would grow up in the 2018 film and kind of be a, you know, cuckoo wacko nut. Like, I completely get it, but at the same time, I'm also like, you know, you guys could have at least left Halloween 2 in.
Right.
I know you guys wanted to retcon the whole brother sister thing, but like, they even had to like figure out a stupid way to get him and Laurie to meet up with each other again, with that whole doctor twist in the first movie. Twist almost ruined the entire film for me.
I hate that. I don't like that.
Because I was really loving Halloween 2018 up until we got to that point. And I said, if this is the way this movie is going, I'm not gonna be able to finish this movie. And luckily they killed Dr. Sartain off pretty quickly and in a very satisfying way. I said, thank you for getting rid of this man. Literal bane of my existence in that movie. I hate that fucking guy. But even so, with the, you know, them retconning the brother sister thing, they still had to find a stupid way of getting them together. And I'm just like, you guys might as well just left the brother sister thing in there. So that's just
so well, I know we were talking before about you loving Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Jamie Lee Curtis is one of my favorite actresses beyond the horror franchise and stuff like that. I love how she's like pretty much the same thing you said about Sarah Michelle Gellar. She speaks her mind. She's not, you know, she's not reserved. She even just said comments. I don't know if you saw about if the new Halloween trilogy, if she knew it was going to be a trilogy, she wasn't going to partake in it or something like that, because Blumhouse was like cheap or something. I'm like, hey, like you know, I love her for speaking her mind, and she's a badass woman and stuff like that. And that again makes me think, like, what did they pitch her the one, and how did she get signed on for 3 films? I thought, I don't know, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. I thought she signed up for 2018, and then because it did so well, signed on for 2 more. Yeah,
see, I'm not sure how that whole thing went, but I will say, like, and this might get me in some hot water here, and like, I'm not trying to bring any sort of negativity to this live stream or anything like that, so I do want people to keep that in mind that are watching this and tuning in. I'm not trying to be negative, but I've had a little bit of a problem with Jamie Lee Curtis for a while, and my problem with her is that it only seems like she's interested in the horror genre when it benefits her financially. Otherwise, she wants nothing to do with it. You know, which isn't a problem. Like, if you don't, if you, you know, I respect her decision to step away from horror, because that's kind of not what she wanted her entire legacy to be about. I completely get that. Like, and of course she's been in other iconic things aside from just horror films. So like, I respect the decision to kind of not want to be just solely labeled as a horror actress. I get that. But I think for me, it's just like every 20 years we get this cycle of her being like, I'm not coming back for another Halloween movie. I'm not doing that. And then she'll turn around and say, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to do it. And to me, it gets to a point where it does start to feel like it's all about the money to her. And like, something about that just kind of rubs me the wrong way. But I guess you could say the same thing about other people too. Like, you know, because people may argue that Nev Campbell is that way because like she didn't return for Scream 6 because she didn't get paid the money she deserved. And, you know, while that might be a valid point, I'm also kind of like, well, Nev Campbell has always kind of been support. Not to say that Jamie Lee Curtis hasn't. And see,
Mhm.
this is why I'm walking myself into a hole. I'm not trying
I
to,
do.
but
I do the
you
same.
know what I'm trying to say, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where it's like, I respect Jamie Lee Curtis for the hustle. I respect her for the roles that she's done, but there's something like about the way she like sits there and tries to be like, well, I wasn't going to sign on if it was going to be a trilogy thing. And I'm like, I don't know. I kind of call bullshit on that because I kind of feel like the trilogy thing was kind of planned before 2018 was even. I feel like that was kind of like a thing that was already started. I can't speak to that. I don't know. I wasn't there. Maybe
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Well,
But like,
I really think that it I agree. I think it was all for the money too. But
yeah,
I like that she says that she doesn't like horror films and stuff like that. And she's very blunt about that. But it really,
yeah,
kind of kickstarted her renaissance because after she does Resurrection, and in the 2000s, like Freaky Friday is as a millennial, Freaky Friday
so
is massive with Lindsay Lohan and stuff like that. And she does
yeah,
Christmas with the Cranks. Shout out that film if you guys grew up watching that. But after those films, she really kind of I really couldn't name another film that she was in until Halloween 2018. So she really started her second renaissance with
yeah,
Halloween 2018 because then she does Knives Out, then she does Halloween Kills, and then she gets her Academy Award for Everything Everywhere All at Once. So it
yeah,
is one of those things where it's like, I think she did it for the money. But you put that chip on your shoulder and it's like, I don't know if she would have got the role in Everything Everywhere All at Once unless she was, put on the forefront of everything because she came back for Halloween.
yeah.
And then she had more. I don't know if she got Academy buzz for The Last Showgirl with Pamela Anderson, but she did that film, and then she does Freakier Friday, and she does the new Haunted Mansion film Stunk. um, but um,
Yeah.
but yeah, but I do love her as a performer and stuff like. Did you see the new Freaky Friday?
The
Freakier Friday?
Freakier Friday one?
Yeah.
No, actually, which is crazy to me because I did want to go see that, but I didn't get around to seeing it. Um, and I feel like is it streaming on Paramount
It's got to be
or
on
Hulu
Disney. I think it's a Disney.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I could probably just watch it right after this live stream, but I'm probably gonna go to bed. But I plan on watching it. I just haven't had the time to sit down and do it or had like the desire to quite yet.
Uh,
Um, crazy thing. I haven't seen Hocus Pocus 2 yet either. I have a thing. I'm very weird. Like I'm like, I don't want to watch. I have like a hesitance towards certain movies, especially movies that I grew up with, like Freaky Friday and Hocus Pocus. I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch the sequel. Is it gonna ruin how I feel about the original? You know what I mean? So like I
yeah.
have a little bit of hesitance with seeing Freakier Friday for some reason. Like I want to, but I'm also like, oh, what if it's not very good? So
Yeah, I want to watch it. I definitely feel like it's going to be nostalgia bait. I don't think it's going to be better than the original or anything like that, but I think it's going to be a fun like hour and a half. I can pretend I'm like 8 years old again or something like that.
yeah,
From what I saw, I don't know if this is a spoiler or anything, but like I know Chad Michael Murray and the Jamie Lee Curtis's husband is coming back, and like they really kind of got the time to bring everyone back. And speaking of Renaissance, man, I'm so proud of Lindsay Lohan and stuff like that.
yes, I was just gonna say that.
She had a very hard hand that was dealt growing up being a child actor and stuff like that, and dealt with a lot of issues with drugs and all these other things. But she was again one of those actresses that we grew up with as especially like millennials and stuff like that. And yeah, she's killing it with Freakier Friday. And I didn't see it, but she was in the new Mean Girls, obviously, and so hopefully she continues this streak. I don't know what else. What else was she? She did some weird, like pre-COVID. She did some weird like MTV show where she like
I
ran a
watched
beach
it.
club in Greece, and I'm
I
like,
watched it, yeah.
what are we
In
doing
Mykonos,
here?
it was like this weird, and I watched it, and I actually like loved it. I was like, anything Lindsay Lohan, I'll watch because I love her.
Yeah,
But I actually found myself like enjoying that show, And there's that video of her that goes around where she's dancing on the. It's
she like whips her hair
so,
and like
yeah, so funny.
I don't know. But it's funny how like, you know, that obviously wasn't the catalyst that that made her come back or something like that. But fortunately, again, with Mean Girls and Freakier Friday and stuff like that, it seems like she's, you know, getting a renaissance. But so many things with, oh my god, The Parent Trap and Herbie and man, what was that? She had a crappy 2000s horror film, right?
I Know Who Killed Me.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if I've seen that. I mean, maybe I did, but I couldn't tell you a thing about it.
It has a really solid. I feel like the premise is very solid, and I think like the first half of the movie is actually pretty decent. Like there's actually some pretty like disturbing, like there's a scene where Lindsay Lohan is basically being tortured, and like I won't tell you in what way, but it's like it's visceral and it's really like kind of just, I remember watching it the first time and being like, oh, like it kind of gave me that weird feeling in my stomach. I was like, I don't like that. But then there's like a scene, like just the way the movie kind of falls apart towards the end is the problem that I have with that movie. But I will say like the first like 30 to 45 minutes of that movie is pretty solid from what I remember. And I think the premise is really good. And Lindsay Lohan is actually really good in it too. So
yeah.
But I would say watch it for like the first, I don't know, like 45 minutes of it.
No, I'll definitely check it out. I love my schlocky 2000s horror. I enjoy the meta-ness. Again, we were talking about House of Wax, but again, Chad Michael Murray, what a teen heartthrob. And Paris Hilton, she was sort of poking fun at herself. She was like the biggest, you know, in the I guess it was right before Kim Kardashian, like the show came out, The Kardashians. But you know, she was the biggest, one of the biggest celebrities on the planet. I'll just say that when that film came out. But I like how she was poking fun at herself, kind of playing herself in the film. And we get to see her die. So if anyone doesn't like her, you get to see her die in the film.
Exactly.
But Stacy says, "What's your favorite Jason kill?" I've said this a bunch, but the liquid nitrogen kill from Jason X is insane. Like there's so many levels to it where it's like he takes her face, the look of terror on the actress's face, and it freezes, and that's one thing enough. But then he smashes it, and then you see that the shell of her face is just unbelievable. And I have fun with the hokiness of Jason X. Yeah, so that would be mine and Michael's as well.
I would say if I had to pick another one, I also really like the one in Freddy versus Jason where he takes both sides of the bed and just snaps the guy in half. That's a great one too. Oh, dude,
because that guy's an asshole. He's like ordering his girlfriend, like, give me a beer and like do all this stuff. And yeah, that's something that you won't forget, how he just folds the guy in half. Yeah. So what else do we have here?
I will say, Adam, I just realized, and we can keep talking, but for some reason my computer has not been charging this whole time. I've got the charger in, but I don't know if the cord's not working. I'm at like 15%. So I'm like, I guess it's a good thing we're at almost the hour and a half mark.
No,
we're almost get like cut off. If I get cut off, it means that my computer died. So
listen, let's it's actually perfect. We'll do let's see if Stacy has we're almost at the hour and a half mark, which is usually when I cut it off, and my old butt needs to go to sleep and stuff like that. But what else can we chat real quick? Yeah, I mean, why not?
I was gonna I'm sorry, what were you gonna say, Adam?
No, I was just rambling. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna ask you, like, what are a couple of your like most anticipated films that you've seen that you haven't seen yet that are coming out this year, or like what are some of your favorite films that you saw this year so far?
Oh, well, I loved what have I seen? Oh my goodness. Let me pull up my my thing real quick. I saw Scream 7, obviously. I saw the Elvis film. It was called like Epic. It was the same guy who did it, which was really good. I saw that with my dad. And I saw, what is the other one I saw?
Did you see Send Help?
Yes, I saw Send Help and Dracula. Those were the last two. So I saw 4 films in the theaters. Send Help was my favorite horror movie so far.
So good. Yeah.
Rachel McAdams, shout out Mean Girls, Regina George, kills it. I thought the writing was great. The kills were great. It was something I hadn't seen. I like the seclusionness, being on the being stuck on the island, and I had a lot of fun with that. Sam Raimi going back
Yeah.
to an R-rated horror film, which he hasn't done in 15, 16 years, or probably more than that. So I had a lot of fun with that. And then I don't know, like I'm weird, man. Like I want to see Project Hail Mary, but like my butt won't. This weekend I didn't go out to see it for whatever reason. And I want to see Ready or Not, but I haven't seen it. I do want to see the Michael Jackson film, especially in the theaters. I do want to see what else do I want to see? Man, Michael, um, oh, the Odyssey. I definitely want to see the Odyssey with Nolan. Horror is my favorite genre, but I love all the other films too. So, what were you thinking that's coming out that I probably forgot about?
Oh gosh. I'm really excited for Evil Dead Burn. I
Oh, there you
really
go.
liked the last two Evil Dead films that have come out in the last 10 years. Like I really, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, and I'm not gonna, when Evil Dead Burn, when they finally drop the trailer, I'm not gonna watch it. I refuse because I spoiled, like the trailer for Evil Dead Rise spoiled way too much. I went and saw it and I
Yeah.
was like, well, I basically just saw all the kills that were in the trailer. So
Yep.
I was disappointed with Evil Dead Rise only because I had seen so much of it in the trailer. So I'm not making that mistake with Evil Dead Burn. I'm really excited for Lee Cronin's The Mummy because it actually looks really unnerving and really like scary. There's another movie called, oh my gosh, what is it? I don't remember what it's called, but it's about like a coven of witches that works at like a mall or something, and it has a whole bunch of like Lily Reinhart and Victoria Pedretti, who I absolutely love. It's kind of like it looks like it's kind of like a fun take on The Craft, like a more modern take on The Craft.
Okay.
That one looks really good. I can't remember what it's called though. I wish I could.
Forbidden Fruits.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
That one.
I just found it. Yep. Cool.
Yeah, and it's produced by Diablo Cody, so that's already like a good sign to me as it is already because she did Jennifer's Body. So, and
There you
Jennifer's
go.
Body is one of the best horror movies ever made. So,
Love it.
what else? Well, I haven't seen Ready or Not 2 yet either because I'm waiting for my roommate to get back because he actually is on vacation for a week, so he won't get back till Saturday. So, probably go see it when he gets back on that day. But I'm excited because I'm like, to see my queen Sarah on screen again makes me so happy. So
Samara Weaving is along with Jenna Ortega and along with Mia Goth is like one of my favorite horror actresses in recent years.
yeah,
She's really came out of nowhere and just has dominated the she's canon in the Scream franchise. She's in Scream 6, stuff like that. So I love her as a horror actress. So I do really want to see Ready or Not 2 as well whenever I get the chance. But we are almost at an hour and a half. I know your battery might not be working. I hope your charger is working. But before we end it, I'll do two things. I'll pull up Johnny, and speaking of horror convention videos, Michael, if you've not seen Johnny's, he does the best on YouTube. He kills it. You got to go subscribe to him. Check out all his content. He even represents Nancy Ann Ryder. I met her at a horror convention. Who's the girl in the bathroom from the original Scream film?
cool.
And he's like the talent agent for horror. Like he booked her for the event and did all that stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so go check out. He did a Monster Mania vlog. I'm sure he went to a couple conventions. There he goes. Thanks, Adam. He does. And on Thursday, this Thursday, he's going to be on my channel. We're going to talk about more conventions. But subscribe to him, check him out, and he does horror conventions on YouTube and stuff like that. So check him out when you get a chance. But before the battery dies, the floor is yours, man. Where can everyone find you? Your YouTube, your Instagram, all that stuff. Where can people find you?
So you can find me at Anything and Everything Horror on YouTube. On Instagram, I'm the We Love Horror podcast. And I do have a TikTok as well, under the same name. So you can find me on there. And you can stream my podcast anywhere that you stream podcasts. And like I said at the beginning, I should be making a comeback very, very soon. Just trying to tie up some things and make sure that everything's ready to go for when I come back. So expect to see some new content soon, guys. And thank you again, Adam, for letting me be on here. It's been so much fun talking with you for the last hour and a half. So thank you.
No, absolutely. And hopefully we will get Kayla on and we can do all three of us. We can have a conversation. And one last thing from Johnny. Johnny says, we just signed Katie Norby from Devil's Rejects. That's awesome. I think you also, Johnny, you can correct me if I'm wrong real quick. I think you did a signing in your hotel room with one of the girlfriends in House of a Thousand Corpses. I would love to see her at a convention. I can't remember if it was Denise or Mary or who it was, if it was Rainn Wilson or Chris Hardwick's girlfriend in the film, or one of the cheerleaders. But I would love to meet her for something, because I don't have anyone from House of a Thousand Corpses. And one more shout out, we do have Drew's Movie Club saying, hey, everyone. Drew is a big fan of the channel. Drew, I think I don't have your Instagram, and I would love to get you on here as well to do a live stream with you. So if you can message me on Instagram, on Movie Magic 1996 with my selfless plug, I would love to be able to. He says I'm always late. I would love to have you on here as well. So if you can message me, because I'm not sure if at Drew's Movie Club is your Instagram, but I would love to have you on here as well. And Johnny just said, yes, Jennifer Jocelyn Mary. Yeah, so I would love to meet her. We need her at one of these closer conventions. But guys, we're going to wrap it up. Michael is awesome. Go check him out. And if you're watching on the rerun, I appreciate all you guys. And let's see if I can end this. There's always a delay, but thank you.